Hello, hello, everyone. Just checking in, check, making sure I can be heard. How are we doing today, everybody? Welcome. Bonjour, Madeline. Madeline. Thank you, Keith, for letting me know that you can hear me. This is always a great thing. I'm always slightly paranoid about that, as you know. But sorry, I'm probably gonna be clearing my voice a lot. I've been under the weather for the last month, and so I apologize for that. But I will. Oh, now you're saying no. Can you not hear me? No, I hope so. Anyways, let me know, you guys, if you can hear me in the chat. Now there's an oops. Oh, okay, you can hear me. Thank you, guys. So yeah. Anyways, I will say though, I am feeling so happy today because I don't know, the sun is out and I'm feeling well. And you know, when you are sick for a while, gosh, nothing makes you appreciate your health more than when you have been feeling badly and no energy. And, you know, I just was not inspired. I was very unmotivated. And so just the fact that I woke up today and yesterday and I felt good, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So, anyways, I appreciate you all coming in to be with us today and to hang on my radio show. And we have an amazing group with us today. Actually, it's just one of the members of the group is going to be joining us. It's Hannah from the band Grouplove. So I'm going to go ahead. I think she is ready to come in. So I'm going to go ahead and add her in now. But I cannot wait to talk to her and just hear all about their upcoming album and, oh my gosh, their tours that they're doing. And I've had so much fun listening to all their music. I've definitely known their band for a long time, and it's been fun to like kind of revisit. So, hi Hannah, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. Yes, I can hear you. Are you in LA right now?
No, we moved to Atlanta.
Oh, nice. How's Atlanta?
It's so awesome. It's so chill and has like a nice little bit of a slower pace than LA, which I needed.
Yes. When did you move there, like recently, or did you live in LA for a long time before that?
Yeah, I was in LA Christian and I were in LA for 10 years. And then sort of the beginning of the pandemic, we just took it upon ourselves to move.
I feel like that was a big wake-up call for a lot of people in a lot of different ways of like, am I content with all the choices of my life right now? You know, like that pause
Totally.
made us all like, why am I doing this the way I'm doing it? Because now that I can actually stop and think about it. But anyways, I'm so glad that you love your new space and that, you know, it's fitting for your family. Is the whole band there?
The whole band except for our guitar player, Andrew, who he bought like a farm in Northern California at the beginning of the pandemic, right before we moved to Atlanta. And he was like, what the F? Now I'm up here. So he flies in all the time for rehearsals. And yeah, I think he's going to probably end up being here.
That is so funny. He's like, really? Are you okay? That's fine. That's fine. I bought first, by the way.
I know.
That's too good. Well, hey, thank heavens for planes. But congrats, by the way, on your upcoming 6th album. I want it all right now. And that's actually the name of the album, even though I do want it all right now. But yeah, that is so exciting. And I guess, what does the title mean for the album?
That is a great question. So the title is lyrics in our first song, All. But that line, I want it all right now, is something that I think has kind of taken shape in different ways. But at the beginning of the pandemic, we were all just feeling really overwhelmed, and I didn't know we were about to leave on a world tour, and it all kind of, for so many musicians, just stopped, you know, when we were in the like go phase. And I just had a chance to kind of quiet my mind and realize that wanting it all can mean different things. And like, I wanted the touring, I wanted the success, I wanted the attention, I wanted, you know, I wanted more friends, I wanted more followers, I wanted all these things that were sort of like outside of my body. And then during the pandemic, I started taking that time to go inward. I think we all did, you know, and I realized that I just wanted to be healthy and happy and calm and in love with myself and my life and what I have already. And the more I quieted my mind, the more I realized I have it all. And so I think that is really, yeah, that's really what this album is about, is that we are all so distracted that we forget what we have, you know, and that's really inside of us. And then what we want is everything inside.
Yeah. Well, it's like we all know what we want is the interesting thing. We all want to feel love. We all want to be happy. We all want to feel connection. Like that's the basis of what we all crave. But I feel like we get so distracted and we're always chasing these important things. We think we're chasing them, but then it's like at the end of the day or at the end of the month or the years, you know, you realize, have the things I've been chasing to find the love, the connection, like all of this, is it actually giving me that? And oftentimes it's like, no, it's not, because you're reaching outside of yourself, exactly like you're saying. And you just have to be like, oh my gosh, it's all right here. I've been running in circles and it's all been in the middle the whole time. Like, you know, it's such a beautiful message that you just shared. I love all of that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think it's something everyone I talk to, it's really like, when you get to the core of it, it's everyone's just like, how do I slow down and enjoy what I have and stop seeking outward things to fulfill this like emptiness that actually is just us caught in a loop, the like electronic loop, the like whatever. Our world is moving so fast now. It's really impossible to keep up. And I think any of us that are in music, you know, that like, not even like that long ago, music was really just about making music, and then you go on tour and you promote it. And now there's so many other ways to get your music out. It's like you kind of have like an endless job. It's insane. Yeah. And so at what point is it enough for you? Like we don't all have to do everything. All of us are such different kinds of artists, you know? So what is enough for each one of us to feel like, you know, I feel really good in what I've done and what I've written and how I've shared it. And that should be good enough.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. And it's wonderful to hear you say this. And because I feel like I face this battle every day, you know, like almost like,
yeah, no, we all do. We all do.
Yeah, we all do. And it's like, it's so easy to pin it just on music and entertainment, because I feel like it's such a, you know, it's such a visual and, you know, like we see it out there. We see it through the social media, but I'm sure that like it's something that everybody listening can relate to in whatever field they're in or whatever phase of life they're in, you know, and I love that right now it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's a time to kind of be reminded of like, oh, these battles we face every day, like we all are dealing with them. And it's so nice to find that solidarity of like, yeah, we're all in this together. We all face it so we can all get through it, you know?
Totally. I think there's like a mysticism and a privacy and a beauty in what we don't share that we're starting to lose. You know what I mean? And I just had like this kind of insane, because I'm like, you know, also excited about the way people are connecting. I think like TikTok and all these things are really exciting depending on how you use them and these tools. And I do our band's artwork. So I've been trying to figure out like, how can I share my art for the band and like using this new way. And I tried to do a painting using TikTok, and it was an it was a disaster, because basically normally, and I think I wonder if like chefs feel this way, or people that are trying to share their recipes, but like, so I'd be like stretching canvas and I'd be like, oh, right, I got to film myself stretching the canvas, which finding different angles to make it interesting makes it take like 4 times as long. And then you're mixing paint, you're like, got to document mixing the paint. Okay, I'm laying out the canvas now, I got to show that. And so you're constantly like, you're basically doing multiple projects at once. And so I didn't feel like I was in the moment at all. And so the whole reason I paint to like kind of get lost, I was completely distracted by trying to document it. And I was like, this isn't working.
Oh. No, I totally relate to that, because being in your artist brain and that free creative space is very different than the like marketing brain of like, I have to do this right and I have to film it and I have to think about how to present it to the world. Those are two such different parts of the mind. And that's why it's very even rare for an artist to be a good marketer, because it's like it's a totally different skill set. And I realized I've become a master recreator, you know, and I feel like I'm exposing myself right now. Everybody oh no, what is she telling us? Because usually when I'm in the zone and I'm like, whether it's crafting a costume or making a song or like whatever it is, there's no way I'm going to be filming it unless I have it like getting the angles. And so yeah, I'm great at recreating things once I'm like, well, there we go, that's worth showing. I'm gonna recreate this, like because like you said, it's just so impossible.
Brilliant.
Both.
Yeah. Also, like, let's be real. When
okay.
you're oh, sorry. Go.
No, you go on. You go.
No, I was going to say, let's be real. Like, 90% of the time when you're really in a creative zone, like, I look like an ogre. I'm like, my hair is everywhere, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like paint under my nails, and there's like a guitar, the strings are breaking, and looks like I live in a trash can. And then when you're like, oh, this is like a lot to share.
Yeah, they're not going to focus on the art in this moment.
No, they are not.
Oh, that's so true, and so true. I'm so, are you really involved in kind of I mean, obviously you do a lot of the artwork, which I want to talk about that in a second here. But like, for example, you guys have such creative music videos. Like I love the Hello music video where you guys are all in the same suit. And so anyways, for everybody listening, if you haven't seen it yet, they're walking around and in a giant custom-made suit that all 5 band members are inside of. And it's really cool. And it's just so quirky. And I just really thought it was clever. So are you really involved in the videos and the, that kind of visual aspect of your music?
Totally. Yeah, I think for a lot of the times, like while we're writing songs or particularly in the studio, I'm doing a lot of like in between takes and stuff, I'm doing a lot of drawings and just a lot of like the songs visually start coming to life. And there's always that really fun moment where you kind of figure out if you have a budget or not,
Yes.
Made 5 per year. You take 5 people, make it like a uniform photo. The next, the band doesn't exist without all 5 of us, and we kind of thought it would be a fun way to make it just like we've advanced, we've grown. Now we are in the tuxedo.
Yes.
It was a wild journey finding someone who could, and then also spinning it. Like we were all like it was hysterical. It was
yeah. No, it looked like it would have been like really fun. Even the challenge of trying to walk in unison and do all that. By the way, I don't know if you're connected to Wi-Fi, but it's kind of breaking up a little bit as you're speaking.
It is. Okay, let me. This helps. Does this sound better?
It sounds good right now. So fingers crossed, because I want to hear all the details. But no, I thought the video concepts were so fun. And also, I heard that there's kind of a through line that's going to be through all the music videos of this album, which I think is so cool when artists kind of get the chance to treat an album actually like an album, because nowadays we live in a world where it's so much about just the moment and the single. And, a lot of times I feel like we as artists don't always get the opportunity to be like, no, this is a body of work. And so I thought that was really creative that you're going to have this through line. And I was just kind of wondering where the inspiration came to make them all connect.
Yeah, I think the album itself connects so much. It's really this like journey of like I was telling you, just going from sort of the outside and the stress of the outside world and learning how to calm yourself and go inward, and and just what that really takes. So we thought like, I mean, when you get to the end of the album for the beginning, you realize it's just the whole, musically, your whole body, like when I listen to it, is like in such a good place by the end of the album. And I think we saw that with the music videos as well.
That's so cool. I love, we need more feel-good music in the world. We need music that, like, that's why I feel like a lot of us go to music is to, like, match our mood sometimes, but also sometimes you need songs to, like, elevate your mood, So,
yeah, I feel like
and when go on.
Sorry. And I feel like our band, like we bring songs in and they actually are normally pretty sad. And it's the act of like working on them together that completely transforms the original energy, which was normally like, you know, like stress or loneliness or loss or things like that. And then as we work on them together, it's like the song itself, while working on it, we're healing from that, whatever that situation is. And it grows into, yeah, it's really, it's like this beautiful process together. And then it grows into this piece that like, I think our music makes people feel good because it makes us feel good. Like it actually did that to us. And then we get to go out and share that. So it's really like this special experience.
Oh, I love that. Do you feel like that's an intentional choice? Like, okay, I brought this sad song in, let's like lift it up. Or do you feel like just because the experience of working with people that you love and writing, that it like naturally goes in that direction?
Yeah, it's definitely a natural thing. And I think, I think it's like one of those things with music, like a lot of us in the band have a hard time expressing ourselves without music, you know, like there's like there's just like this language we have when we're together where one person, you know, the bass line comes in and it's sort of like you're, I don't know, my body just feels better as we are writing together. And it's this bizarre, and because of that, then lyrics begin to change and songs evolve and the bridge gets big and the chorus gets bigger and suddenly you're like, oh my God, I'm getting through this. It's really amazing.
And then, you know, then you don't have to do a therapy session that week. It's great.
I know. Or you do both.
Oh yeah, or you know, maybe need it more because the stuff got uncovered. Who knows? But I do feel like also it's easier to write sad songs for some reason, and it takes a little more, like maybe like you said, a group effort, or a little more intention to be like, you know, we're not just going to pull on the heartstrings. We're going to take this and make it happy. Like I find I write dramatic music way easier than I write happy music for some reason, and I don't know if you feel the same way.
Oh, definitely. Especially like when I'm by myself, I think that's, you know, I think that it's kind of, you're unlocking these places of tension and trauma and tightness in your body when you're by yourself. And then the act of just sharing that is like, you know, a lot of people say it's like the first step towards healing something. So if you think about it, you're sharing it and then you're playing it over and over again with people you trust. And so I think you're like revisiting whether you've really experienced what you wrote about, or it's something you've like created, or it's just an emotion, whatever it is. I think there's something about revisiting it, and you can start like kind of reframing it, you know? And
right. It's so cool too, you know, like you said, we do get to revisit our songs over and over again, because especially the ones that really connect with your audience, you're going to play those forever on tour every night. You know,
I know. It's just insane. Yeah.
Like hundreds, thousands of times sometimes, you know, like you play that song. But it is interesting how like it does bring up that same emotion of when you wrote it, but also it's kind of cool how you develop like these new relationships with the same exact song as you go through new experiences. And it's like you now have a different relationship and a different feeling that comes out when you play it. Like, do you find that with your band on stage?
Oh my God, that is one of the most exciting things for me about what happens to an album once you start touring it. And I find there are so many moments, you know, with old songs too, I find this all the time, where it's like you've put little secrets in there to tell your future self. Like I have had moments where lyrics that I've written, suddenly on stage, I'm like, oh my God, like this is a message for me right now, or for all of us right now, or for whatever the moment. You like things become so much. It's like I wake up to the reason. Like sometimes I don't know why lyrics come to me all at once, or Christian writes things all at once sometimes. You know, he doesn't have to, like, a song sort of falls out of the sky sometimes and you wonder where it came from. And then it's like 2 years later, you're like on stage in Wisconsin and you're like, oh my God, this is insane.
Yeah.
And I love getting to know myself on stage as, you know, I'm getting older, and get to know the songs as I change. Yeah, it's a really exciting, like, different part of the process.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's almost the way I feel sometimes. Like, I used to journal a lot, and I've gone back and read some journals before, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, 20-year-old me was very wise in this moment. Like, sometimes you don't realize the wisdom you have in yourself in a given moment, and you may not even realize it, like you said, what you're writing, but it's like, that's why I think it's so important to document like little pieces of our lives, because we have these like untapped wisdoms that maybe we don't even realize are there yet, So that's really cool that
Totally.
you experienced that through your music, and then as you're sharing it with other people, and it just becomes this like cyclical moment.
Did you, I have a question about your journaling. Did you only journal when you were younger, when you were sad? Or did you
No, when
journal
I was
anytime?
younger, now I only journal when I'm like extremely sad. And so if someone found, like, heaven forbid, my journal from the last like decade of my life, they would be like, this poor dark woman. But like, when I was younger, I used to write about like fun, like my younger journals are like, that's why I would go back and read them, because they're quite funny. And like, I wish I
Yeah.
still did that. But do you journal?
Yeah, I do. I started a couple years ago, because when I went back in my journals, they were only when I was sad. And I was like, wow, I don't want
Mm.
to, like, I only took time to write when I was really trying to release something, like, or understand something that happened that was obviously like hard, So my life in my 20s, which I know was so much fun and so chaotic, and actually like, really exciting time for the band. And I left New York, all this cool stuff. I only wrote when I was like having imposter syndrome, or like really, really stressed out,
Mm.
or just, oh,
Yeah.
it's, yeah. So
It's a
I'm
bummer.
changing that narrative.
You're inspiring me to just like, because I write in a little gratitude journal every night, but it's literally like little bullet points. But you're inspiring me. Maybe as a part of my gratitude journaling practice, I'll also like actually write a little bit about, I don't know, like, see, that's a
Yeah.
great point, because it's like, oh, I want to also like, like gratitude journaling has helped me so much, like train my brain to focus on the positive. So it's like, yeah, if you're just journaling when you're like really sad, you're like, almost, it's therapeutic, but you got to counteract that negativity with like the positive as well. So anyways, that
Yeah.
you inspired me.
Oh, awesome. That's so cool.
Um, so, okay, you've designed the artwork for the band, and I want to hear about this painting that you made for the album cover, because it's a picture, it's a painting of a woman. Is this a specific woman, or what inspired this painting? Yeah, I'd just love to hear about that.
Nice. Well, okay. So I was playing the album, and I mean, in the studio when we were recording in LA, I kept seeing, especially during the first song, All, which is a really beautiful song that Christian sings, but I kept thinking about this sort of perfect, or the idea of, I think, my childhood vision of what a perfect woman looked like. And
Mm,
in a way, I mean, I played with Barbies at the time, which I think had a big effect on all little girls, because I was just like, this kind
yeah.
of like quirky little redhead in like my overalls with my pigtails every day. And I was playing with these Barbies, and I was like, if only I could be like this when I'm older, everything would be okay. And the idea of
Yeah.
this painting was sort of like someone who followed that frame of thought. And it was like, if I looked this way, if I dressed this way, if I achieved these goals, which is sort of what we talked about, just like all, but doing none of the internal work, what would that person look like when it's like the moment they're surrounded by paparazzi and they have this realization that they're almost like dead inside, like they have it all, but they have
Mm,
nothing. Like, what does that look like? So I, I wanted it to be sort of tragic, but not over the top, just like the idea that there's someone that's
yeah.
like having an awakening at a very awkward moment. So the idea that I was thinking was like this painting that's frozen in time, but you're surrounded by a gallery full of people photographing it. So it's like this moment is like the big awakening.
Mm,
And that's the
yeah.
feeling, I feel like, where the album starts. If it was like the most over the top image, that's like where I think the album starts.
I love it. I love it. And it's interesting hearing you talk about it, because I always love hearing how artists or musicians like kind of personify, like they find, we find like a muse to tell like a little story of like how we're feeling. And I love it when people characterize it like with an image or like a story or a character. And it, I feel like you and I are very similar in the way that we like to tell our art, and express it visually. Because you even mentioned before that sometimes when you're in the studio writing the song is when you'll start to like kind of sketch ideas and think of them, even the visuals of the music video. And I definitely do the same thing. But yeah, I think that's
so
really cool.
cool.
This image of perfection. And yeah, I love that.
I love hearing that. Yeah,
So,
I do think for a lot of people that it goes hand in hand, you start
yeah, I think
you
so.
start like seeing, you're feeling and seeing and it's kind of coming to life for you. You're like, oh, this is what I was pulling from. Because I think the songs, I don't know if this happens for you, but songs happen very quickly for us, and we know pretty immediately, like, oh yeah, we're gonna continue to work on this and see this through, or this was just a chorus, or this was just a first verse, and this is never going to be anything for now. And so the songs that come on really powerfully, I can feel them and then see them and then sing them.
Yeah, it's so true. Like when I'm in the studio writing and all of a sudden I start to see like little visuals, or I can imagine where I'm filming the music video, or I'm like, wow, I'm suddenly for me, oftentimes it's like, I'll tell the producer, I feel like I'm dancing in the forest surrounded by like fireflies. Like that's when I know.
That's amazing.
I love the song. It's like my visual place of like happiness. If music makes me feel like that, then I'm like, it's good. But yeah, you're right. It's usually, you kind of know pretty fast whether it's, yeah. And it sometimes takes a while to find it, but once you've like started the melody, you're like, this isn't it, or it is. You've referred to this new album as resistance pop. And so I'm curious, what does that mean?
Well, I think the first half of the album, I was thinking about resistance pop. Just it's the first few songs are like you're resisting surrendering to anything. So you're basically, which is a state I found myself in Los Angeles a lot, which was like I was resisting acknowledging pain or stress, or I was just sort of like living in the motion of the to-do list, if that makes sense. I was just like getting shit done, getting it done. But I wasn't getting it done and feeling satisfied. I was getting it done to get it done for some outside, just to like get to the end of the day. And so I think the first few songs on the album are that feeling of just like angst, stress, knowing that you're fighting against something within yourself, And so they're pop songs. And then there's just a turn in the album where Christian sings the first quieter song really about love and you start going inward, and it's this nice change, and then I feel like we start focusing on, then there's a song that's almost like a mantra about learning how to calm yourself down, and just come back to the moment and stop piling it on, as I like use, just piling it on, like today I'm going to do 30,000 things. It's insane.
It is. Well, and there's something about, and maybe, I don't know, it's everywhere, but I feel like especially in big cities or like working cities like LA, there's this like pride that comes from letting people know that you are like, I haven't slept in 2 weeks. Like, I'm so busy. Like, there's like a certain like that's what you want to tell people, and that's what's almost like cool to say. And it kind of takes a little bit of vulnerability when someone says, how are you doing, to say, you know what, I'm in a little bit of a, like, I don't know, not much is happening right now. I just finished a tour, to admit that like I'm in between cycles right now and I'm trying to figure that out, but it's not the cool thing to say. It's cooler to say I'm stacking it all on, I'm getting it done, like, but no one lives there forever.
No, but like when you hear someone say, like, when I'm like, how are you doing? And they're like, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. And like, because of it, I've never been healthier, and I'm really connecting to my friends right now. And I started a painting or something. I'm like, oh my God, that was beautiful. Like, I think that's the goal. The goal is like, how do you take care of your mind, body, and spirit, and share that? Because it's like, that is, I forgot, I read a book a long time ago, but that is called performative activism in a way, where you're not like out there marching in the street about the change you want, but you're just kind of dropping little hints at who you are, and it hopefully will shift other people's mind frames, you know? And I'm like, that's the direction. Yeah, I'm going that direction, where I'm just like, I think being like taking care of yourself first is the way to be able to take care of other people. And, you know, and then taking care of yourself. I mean, I won't, like, don't get me wrong. Art is a weird beast of its own. So when I'm like extremely tired, I can sometimes write the best songs of my life or make the best art of my life. Or when I'm also extremely well rested, I can write the best, you know what I mean? There's no like rhyme to the reason for that. But I know in my day to day, when I'm taking care of myself and like slowing down and not overdoing it, I'm just better to myself and better to everyone around me.
100%. And I think a lot of the trouble lies with us artists. Like you said, there's different phases that you have to go through. Like there was a time in my career when I did have to work 24/7, and I just worked so hard. And that was a time, that was a moment when I saw this little light, and I was like, I'm going to chase it. And I was excited and I was willing to do it, and it was fulfilling. But if you carry that mantra forever, it's no longer fulfilling. It's draining. It will burn you out, you know. And it's like realizing that there's a time when it's like album crunch time, or when you're feeling inspired, there's a time to be that kind of an artist or that kind of a lifestyle. But there's also like you cannot expect to try to be that all the time, and honoring that there's different versions of yourself, that sometimes self-care has to take the front seat for a long time, and that's got to be the driver. And you know, like, but just really realizing there's different phases, and the different me's get to be what they need to be when they need to be it. I don't know.
I no, 100%. I mean, I was just talking to my manager about this, who is absolutely one of my favorite people in the world, and I was just saying, like, you know, I'm learning for the first time how to say no, even if something excites me, just because, and it is the hardest thing for me, because I know I'm a workaholic. I'm like a perfectionist. Yeah. It's just part of who I am. And I think that's how I can accomplish so much. But at the same time, it's like, there is a limit to that, and burnout is a real thing. So figuring out like when to say no, like what, I read somewhere, I definitely read this on Instagram, something that was like, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna like take that. I love that. I think that was Mark Maron. I'm not even sure. But anyway, I was just like, I'm gonna do that for everything, for going out, for if I'm gonna watch a movie, if I'm, you know, whatever it is, I'm just like, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. And I was like, that is my new way of being.
Yes, I'm a huge Brene Brown fan. I love her books. And she said, you know, she wrote like several chapters in one of her books just about being intentional. And, you know, you realize how much of your life is just kind of like, I'm going to watch TV, or I'm going to scroll on social media. But it's not like an intentional choice that you're like, I'm excited about scrolling on social media right now. Or I'm, you know, just watching a show to watch it because you want to feel the silence in your home, or whatever it may be, you know. But, you know, if you really want to sit down and see what your friends are doing on social media, do it. No shame. If you want to watch that show, do it. But like, be intentional about it. Like, yeah, like you said, make it a hell yes if it's going to be happening in your life. And you know, and like I said, with everything, and it's hard to live that way because it takes a lot more thought. You can't be lazy with that kind of living. It's, you know, in your brain, you have to be active. But yeah, it's a really good point. You're like, oh yeah, how much totally unintentional.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. The awakening.
You know, is there something kind of helped you reframe like this? Like, I know that you've, you know, you semi-recently become a parent. Like, how has that helped? I don't know. I'm sure that reframes your life in so many ways. Like, how has that changed you?
Oh my God, it's changed me in so many ways. I mean, first, to not, you know, the first thing I wake up in the morning to is my daughter, and she obviously, her needs, I mean, she's 7 now, so I've actually been a parent, so it's insane how time has been flying. But yeah, there's something like, I mean, it's amazing. I feel like when you have, or what I felt like when I had Willa, is that all of the lingering childhood stuff that I was sort of like dealing with as an adult just went away because I had a child. You know what I mean? So I had to like sort of like
Yeah.
heal some childhood stuff to like be a parent. And it was really, I also, I don't know, I just like, I think I realize like I've heard this for so long, but you really like when I see Willa draw or see her create, I'm like, that is really like kids are in a place of creativity all the time. It's so beautiful to watch. And so she sort of reminds me why we do it and where it comes from and like not to lose that, you know, and that everything in life is like to stay curious and to stay open and that anyone can teach you. There's not like specific gurus and shaman who are the teachers. It's everyone is your teacher. You know, we're all teachers, we're all students.
Yeah.
And like she teaches me as much as I teach her. I mean, she probably teaches me more, to be honest. But the biggest thing for me that has surprised me as a parent is just like the patience I have now. Like I think
Really?
I just was like an impatient. I didn't even know this about myself, but I was just like a pretty impatient person. Like I just wanted to get it done or I wanted to get there. And now I'm just like learning to enjoy the ride, you know, and to enjoy the quiet moment. Yeah. All those moments, they're just enjoy the day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. And how cool that you learned that you have, like, I mean, we all have the ability to like work on all these attributes in ourselves, whether it's like, you know, patience or like being more loving, like all these things. But it's like, you know, sometimes you need someone that's worth doing it for, you know, like the fact that now you have a child in your life suddenly isn't all about you and like, oh, I have to get this done, and the impatience even with yourself, but you know, seeing it through the eyes of like a child. And you're so right that kids make the coolest art that you're like, this could be on a museum wall and I would accept it. You know, I would think, wow, that's beautiful. Like just because like they're not inhibited by like, oh, I should make this more coherent. Oh, I should make this more realistic.
Yeah, they don't have like all the accidental, whether we did it on purpose, just so I have so many like I've been to so many art shows, I have so many references, I studied art history, like I have all these things that I know what's been done. And I mean, I don't even think that way when I'm actually making art, but when I'm watching we were drawing houses the other day together. We made this little town and she was drawing the coolest houses. Like it looked like, I don't even know. It was just like, she drew a building that had like 400 windows in it of all different shapes, sizes, and colors. And like some were stained glass and had little drawings in them. You know, I'm just like, this is a masterpiece. Like this is beautiful. Right. And yeah, she just loves it. She just gets lost in it. And it takes me a while to get there, but that's why I do it. It's for that, like just total, you're like lost in your own world, you know? And I love that.
You know, it's like sometimes I watch, like I went to a Danny Elfman show recently, and
amazing.
The graphics on the screen were so out there. I was just like, whose mind created these visuals? They were insane and just so weird. And, you know, it's like we've been trained to think very logically and very linear and very like, well, this is how a house looks, you know, like, so that exactly. I'm going to draw a house. And this is like the endless possibilities of like, like your daughter, she hasn't seen like millions and millions of homes in her life. So she's like, who says there can't be this many windows? Like just that ability to just think and create without limitations. It takes so much work to get there now once you're an adult.
I know. It's so like, being around her is just, it's very liberating in so many ways, because she just she doesn't have all the like experiences that can create kind of like preconceived ideas of how something's going to go. You know what I mean? She's just like, let's just go. Let's try it. Let's see it. Let's taste it. Let's listen to it. Let's make it, you know? And I'm like, you're right. Let's do that.
Yeah. Do you find that helps you even in your art to like be around that kind of energy and to just see her create without limits? Does that help you do the same?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, another thing is that I just have less time because I'm a parent. So I have learned I've learned how to just use my time better, which has been really fulfilling. So if I'm going to go into the studio, I feel like I have a better idea of because maybe it is because of Willow, maybe it's just, I don't know, but I know how to let go faster. Almost like if I have a 30-minute set versus an hour set, I know that by like 15 minutes I need to be lost in the music for like the peak of the show. You know, it's just like learning how to trust yourself, that you can just be yourself immediately. And I don't need to go on like a big journey to get there. I think I used to, like, when I lived in New York, I had to like drink or smoke weed or do all these things, like find this balance for the portal to like open so that I could be an artist. And now I'm just like, no, I'm like the closer I am to myself, the more I trust my instincts, my voice, my weirdness, my whatever, the better the work is going to be, you know, or the experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this album, you've talked a lot about like self-discovery, and that's kind of this overarching theme of the album. So, you know, what does self-discovery look like for you? And, you know, I don't know. I feel like that's a process I'm continuously on. I feel like the older I get, the more I realize there's so much of myself that I'm constantly learning. So there must be a lot of myself I haven't even quite realized yet, you know, but like this journey of self-discovery, is there anything that you've done that's kind of helped you for, like, I don't know, any of the listeners to hear that they might be on a journey of self-discovery that could help them?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like dabbled with meditation a lot in LA. I tried like transcendental meditation. I did all these things. And once we moved to Atlanta, I started just sitting first thing in the morning for like 30 minutes to an hour every day. I haven't missed a day, which is crazy. And I just, starting my day in like this kind of silence it's still very hard. There are times when I can't silence my mind at all, and I've learned that's okay. But I have just become aware of how, like, and it sounds so true, but just how big the energy that we all carry is, you know, and that how much our energy affects one another, how much light is around us and in us. And if we don't if I don't set my energy right at the beginning of the day, it affects my whole day. You know, it affects the way I talk to people, the way I'm working, the way I'm present with people, the way I'm talking to myself. So I have found this quiet time, which, like, I have to get up early to do it. You know, I'm actually very interested how I'm going to do it on tour, like on a bus, but I have to get up early. I sit and I just feel like there's so much more magic in the world with meditation in it. Like there's so much space and energy and all this like wonderful light, and all these crazy things have happened to me since I started meditating. I just feel like things have become a little bit more effortless. And I just think it's because I'm kind of tapped in like to myself, which is crazy. I'm just like tapped into this flow, you know? And yeah, so that is, I think meditation has been like the greatest gift I've given to myself.
That's beautiful. And I'm such a fan of all of that work. Like I do meditation and I do breath work, and it's been life-changing for me. And I think my favorite thing about, like, because you said, like, you cannot deny that you can even feel an energy shift in yourself when you intentionally set, you know, this moment to like work on that and grow it and grow that light in yourself, or whatever you want to call it. Like, you know, you feel it in yourself, and it's undeniable that other people can feel it, or that you can feel other people's energy. And, you know, and I love how you said that there's this extra magic in the world when you allow yourself to just like be intuitive and notice it. You know, it's there. It's just been waiting for us.
I know. It's just sitting there. First, like, I mean, and everyone has it. That's the thing. We all have it. It's just who chooses to sort of like sit with it, you know, because that's the big thing. I mean, I'm so guilty of this, but we're so distracted from sort of like all the things that really matter, which is crazy. We're just distracted by nothing. I mean, it's really crazy to say out loud.
By literally running in circles, like we're kind of like running in circles and trying to get all this stuff done. But it's like, if we could be a little more intentional and, like, you know, I don't know. I think my favorite thing about the word energy sometimes can be seen as like a woo-woo word to a lot of people. Totally. But I think my favorite thing I've ever learned about this term energy is Joe Dispenza talked about how, like, if you go to like the nuclear level of us, we're made up of like cells, which are made up of atoms, and atoms are 99% energy. They're actually only 1% actual matter.
Wait, so
and
I
so
didn't,
to ignore.
no, it's incredible.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
So no, I was gonna say, so
Yeah.
Joe Dispenza is the guy that I've been following and practicing since we moved to Atlanta. So for a while now.
He's
I just
amazing.
like therapy. I love him. I actually even went to one of his week-long retreats. I like love him.
How was it?
It was so
How was it?
It was so intense because I was like very early and like practicing his like 20-minute meditations, you know? And like day one, I want to say, or day two, we were in like a 4-hour meditation. And I was like, what is happening? You know, and most people, it's like their 10th time back, their 15th time back. So I was like, but I have to say, by the end of the week, I was like, this is it. This is like, I found my way to connect. You know, I found it. Like, I've been looking for this. It's just, he gives you all the tools, and it's so easily combines so many different things that are normally so complicated. You know, I mean, I've studied like Buddhism and Zen Buddhism and transcendental meditation, all these things, and he really just gives you all the tools. And it's like, he wants you to thrive. I mean, it's the most beautiful man ever. He's like, here are the tools. Now go live your life.
Yeah, he is amazing. I read one of his books. I feel like I got 1% of it. You know what I mean? It was so deep. But yeah, if anybody's interested in, you know, and is like, what the heck are he's talking about? You should just go listen to a podcast that he's a guest on so you can hear him speak. And it's mind blowing. He's so inspiring. So anyways, I love that we could share this together, that we both are, you know, share this world. We're deep into this, you know, this meditation and self-care thing.
I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, because a lot of times you throw out these names and no one responds. You're like, okay, moving on. You know, like that's fine.
I know it's not even like, I know that no, and also like the strange thing about self-care is I feel like people, I mean, we can all identify with self-care, and I think there's many like ways in, but for me, it wasn't like I was looking for a way. I was like looking for a way to enjoy my life. Like I was stressed out. Like really, that's where I was at. I was just like, I have this beautiful life, and I can't calm my body down to enjoy it. You know? So I was like, what is it? Is it therapy? Is it exercise? Is it like, what do I need to do? And I just went on a journey to figure it out. And there were so many like, this didn't work. You know what I mean? Until I started finding something where I was like, I can do this. So I think like, I feel like a lot of people think of self-care as like extra or something, you know, but I see it as like a necessity to enjoy your life. That's the way I see self-care. Like what do you have to do for yourself so that you can find peace?
Yeah. No, it's so true. And it's like we all make time for the things that are important to us, whether it's like eating or exercising or, you know, like we make time for what's important. And it's like, this is actually something that is, you know, like meditation is free. You learn how to do it and it's free, you know, or any of these things. And it's like, and you can be as little as like, you know, 20 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the morning, if that's all you got. So it's like, these are very doable tools that sometimes feel very intimidating, like felt intimidating to me when I first started. But it's like you said, this is what gives you the tools to like not miss your life as it's passing you by.
Totally. You said it perfectly. Not miss your life. That's what I was looking for. Wait, can I ask you a weird question?
No.
Because I'm always curious about this.
Yeah.
Where are you right now? And what are you doing? I mean, besides this podcast together.
Like physically, where am I?
Yeah, physically, where are you?
Okay, it's like that. I could go so many different directions. Okay, physically, I am in my house in LA. My dog is sitting on my lap. I'm in my pajamas, and I am gonna be writing music later today. That's my life right now.
That's so cool. Where are you? Are you allowed to say where you are in LA? What area?
Yeah, I'm in the the Laurel area.
Oh, cool. Love it.
Yeah.
We used to be in the We used to be in the Silver Lake area. No, I was just laughing because I'm in my pajamas and I'm laying on my bed in a very like strange, like feet in the air position. And I was like, I wonder what she's doing.
Yeah, my little dog is like completely passed out on my lap, and I like that's why I love doing a radio show is because like I don't have to have a big light in my face, and I don't have to like do my makeup. It's like, and my guests can be wherever, and it's just it feels so much more comfortable and chill than like an on camera interview where you're trying to like look pleasant, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, this is the first time I think I've done something like this where I haven't been on some form of a Zoom, and it's really nice because I'm just like, whoa, got the like messy top bun and I'm just like scrubby and it's great.
Yeah. It makes for a more relaxed, I feel like a more relaxed conversation. So I've quite enjoyed this, kind of a format.
No, me too. Yeah. I thought we were just like friends on a phone call for a second. And I was like, we got this.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are now.
Yeah.
Okay, before I lose you, I have to ask about your summer tour. I just died when I saw that you are going to be sharing the stage and touring with Pink and Brandi Carlile and Pat Benatar. I mean, talk about a dream list of artists and a dream tour. So I'm curious, from your perspective, are there any particular artists you're excited to tour with of these?
I mean, yeah, I'm so excited. I've heard like the most insane, first of all, if you want to talk about like wellness and like kind people, I've heard so much about the whole Pink camp, like that they're just so tapped into energy and each other. And I have been on tour. First of all, my whole crew has been since the beginning predominantly guys. My whole band is guys. So to be on a tour that is like so women based, I am so pumped.
Yeah.
But Pink is a legend, and Brandi, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of Pat Benatar songs, but I don't know a lot about her. But I've heard just so many wonderful things about Brandi too, and I'm just gonna soak it in. It's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be a crazy tour.
It's going to be amazing. It's fun. I actually already have my tickets to Pink. So I will be seeing you on tour. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be at the show. So I can't wait to see you guys live, first of all. But also I am just like giddy inside for you because Pink is like one of my like end all be all artists. Like she has inspired me probably more than any other artist in terms of like live performance for sure. And just what she stands for and just everything about her. She's my favorite. So I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to like touch base with you later and just hear about what it was like and the adventure of being a part of her team and her camp. And so anyways, I'm super excited for you.
Thank you. I'm so excited too. No, I'm kind of like, I am not going to believe it till we're there. You know what I mean? Like we're just talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. We're going on tour with Pink. Totally. But until I'm like on that stage, it feels like it's like I'm making it up.
Yeah, it's hard for things to feel real until you're actually there, especially because you get promised a lot of stuff in this industry. I mean, this is different because it's like solidified, but when you get those little breadcrumbs and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe, and so many of those things like never happen. And so we kind of get in the habit of being like, well, I'm there. I don't think I'm going to believe it,
Totally. That's how I feel. Yeah. That's amazing.
So cool. So in terms of preparing for tour or even like on tour preparing for stage, are there any like specific ways that you guys prepare for live shows?
The best way to prepare for live shows is just to play live shows, to be honest. So we're going to be playing some shows this summer. We're doing a special like Atlanta takeover weekend because that's our city now. So we're doing 2 shows followed by an art show where I'm showing all the artwork I made for this album, which should be really fun. And then I kind of like I style the band, so I'm starting to like think about like what we're all going to wear. And I'm actually also helping build and paint the stage that they're building on Pink's stage that's going to like roll out before her insane setup comes out. So there's so many.
Yeah.
It's all the things. And like, honestly, until I'm like touching and painting and like singing and all that, it like right now, it just feels like me and you were just like talking about a total pipe dream. but
Right,
it's
yeah.
happening. So it's wild.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. I swear, you and I would be best friends if we lived next door. Because, like, I don't know, you're so creative and so artsy and crafty, and I like to think I'm that way. But like, I style my dancers for my tours and stuff. Like, I design all their costumes, and even make some of the accessories and things. And so I'm like, oh
I
my
love
gosh, we're cut
that.
from the same cloth for sure.
Yeah, we are.
But now when
It's
I
the
go,
like it's. I don't go. Sorry.
oh, go on.
Oh no, I was saying we're like the crazy. I mean, it's like a gift and a curse, right? When you're like, I can do it all.
100%. I was just talking to a friend about this. I'm like, once you kind of do something out of necessity, usually in the beginning, you're like, oh, well, I can't afford a stylist, so I will make the costume myself. And then you realize you can do it, and you know yourself, and you know what you like. And then it's really hard then to like let someone else do it, because then when budgets come into play, you're like, never mind, I'll do it myself. Like, I'll save that, like, or I don't know, you
Totally.
just kind of become little beast of a creative monster. But it's like you said, a blessing and a curse. I love it, but it can definitely sometimes get a little out of hand and you have to like reel it
Oh my
back.
God.
But
Yeah, you got to. And also like doing things with other people can lead to such incredible things. I always have to remind myself this. I'm like, what if you collaborate?
right. Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's funny. I'm having a costume designed for me for something, and we got a costume designer. I haven't had one in a long time. And I remember telling my managers, I'm like, I'm not ready to talk to him yet because I don't have any sketches or I don't have any ideas. And they're like, Lindsey, that's the beauty of working with a costume designer. Like, he can start it, he can do it, and you can have him tweak it. It was just a funny like, oh yeah, that's what this is
Yeah, I
about. Like the
know. I know.
collaboration. Right.
I know.
Yes, please have him send ideas.
I I think it is just because of how you come up. So like, yeah, I'm so used to like, I used to hand paint all our backdrops up to like when they were 20 feet, And so now when they're like, well,
Wow.
you actually, and I still, that's the way I think about everything. Like we're this stage design for Pink. I'm like, as long as I can like get my hands on it and make it handmade, but it's like,
Wow.
we're doing baseball stadium. You know what I mean? We're doing huge places. I'm like, what am I doing? But I just love that. I love putting my hand. It sounds like you do too, just on everything, just because that is what makes you who you are. That's
Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you. I lost you just for a second there. But I heard everything you said. You're back. Okay.
Okay,
I heard
good.
everything you said
Okay,
about
cool.
put your hands on everything. And it is so true. And I love, and it's also kind of crazy because it's like, I see that in other artists when you can tell that that's the way they work. And you're like, oh, you can just feel their little fingerprints on everything. And it's so authentic. And so it's like finding that balance between collaboration, but also making sure that you are still, your fingerprints are at least on it. And now when I go see you live, I'm going to be so excited to see the setup because I'll be like, hey, I know my girl, she made that, or she like designed all of that,
Yeah, that's so cool. Whoa, I just what I just saw? I just saw there's all these people chatting during this our chat. People are chatting. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, we got the chat. They're all hanging in. Anyways, I just thank you so much for hanging out with me today and spending I know you're a mom, you're an artist, you're releasing an album soon. You must be so busy, but just this was delightful, and I feel like I got so much just personally from everything you shared. So thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you on tour.
Yeah, thank you. Well, this was really nice, and I'll see you at the Pink show.
All right, sounds like a date. After you leave, I'm going to play some of your music. So, is there anything I'm going to play? The two newest singles. Is there anything you want to tell about them before you play them?
Oh, the first song is the song that I based all the album artwork off of. So that's really cool. And then Hello is the one where we have the 5-person suit. So enjoy.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, Hannah.
Thank you. All right. Bye, Lindsey. Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys. So, all right, I'm going to start with All because that's the one that all the album artwork is supposedly based off of. Also, I think you can see the album artwork while I play it, which is amazing that she painted it. So here we go. This is All. Oh, I love that. And I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. It was fun to see you guys chatting in the chat about it. And I liked how, some of you guys were talking about you enjoyed listening to her talk about her family life. But yeah, I have one other song to play from their new album. So their album comes out in a few weeks now, but these two singles, I think they have a new single coming out soon, actually, before the album drops. But this one's called Hello. And again, you should just look up the video for this, the music video. Again, it's Grouplove. The song is Hello. And this is the music video where they're all wearing one giant suit, and it's really fun. So here we go. This is Hello from Grouplove. Oh man, I wish Hannah was still here because I would want to ask her if that little ad-lib at the end was from the actual session, because that happens quite a lot. I feel like we're in songs, something will happen in the recording session where the artist or the singer or a band member will like laugh or say something, and they'll just end up leaving it in the song, but it's like organic to the moment. So I always love it when that happens. So I'm pretty sure that felt like one of those moments. But anyways, love that song. I do love how like feel good their music is. And also I thought it was so fascinating. I've never heard another writer say this, but that she was saying a lot of their songs start out sad when they write them by themselves. And that then when they get with the group and the band is all together and they work on it, that it like not even trying, it turns hopeful and happy and just like, wow, what a powerful like situation, but also what a powerful like just metaphor for life of like a lot of times like when we ruminate on things by ourselves, they seem so much bigger and harder and when they're in our own brain and when we're isolated. But then when you get with other people, suddenly you realize like everything's okay and like I'm gonna be okay. And anyway, so I thought that was a really cool, I don't know, thing that she shared with us. And now it makes me want to be like, I'd love to hear, like, for example, what that song started as originally. Like, I'd love to hear what the demo of this, maybe the sadder version of it was once upon a time. Also, I mentioned this during the interview, but it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think it's really cool that AMP is kind of doing an initiative where they've asked all their different hosts and all their different shows to make a little plug for Mental Health Awareness Month. And I'm like, dude, I will talk about mental health all day. And, it came up very naturally just in talking to Hannah. Some of the things we talked about really tied into mental health and self-care and self-discovery, which I think all is part of the same big puzzle. But just to end today, I wanted to play with you a song that recently resonated with me in my like mental health journey. It's a song by the beloved Betty Who. She also has an AMP show and she's been on my show before. So you guys have been introduced to Betty Who by me previously, but she's one of my favorites. Like literally, I just freaking love her. I went to her show recently and when she played this song Big, I thought to myself, I wish I had had this song when I was younger. There could be so many different metaphors for it, but first of all, she started it because, she wrote the song Big because she is like 6 foot something. She's like 6'1" or something. She's very, very tall. And so she said basically that, kind of a lot of her life, she kind of wished she was smaller and she wished she was dainty and she, kind of wanted to be short or, she just was this really tall girl. And she wrote this song about like, hey, I was born to be big. And so I'm going to live big. But I think that there's just many different ways you can spin that. Sometimes we all just wish, we could fit in or we could blend or maybe we didn't, we weren't different. But the fact is like, hey, we were all born to be big, to shine, to show up and to be different, to be who you are. And I was like, I wish I'd had this song a long time ago. And once upon a time I was, wishing that I could just be smaller and smaller and smaller because I was afraid, as I was stuck in a really bad mental place, and I wanted to disappear. And I think this song is a great message of show up in the life that you have and show up as the person you were meant to be. So anyways, this is from Betty Who, Big. It's off her newest album, which has so many bangers on it, but this is the one we're going to hear today. I love it. I love all the music we listened to today. Love all of you for tuning in. Thanks for being here and joining me on my Wednesday AMP show. I know it's kind of a weird time of day, so thanks for, sticking with it and tuning in. But I hope you all have a great week. I hope that you feel like you can be loud and be big and find your self-expression like we talked about today. Find out what you need in your life right now. And, and allow yourself to live the life and enjoy the life, find ways to enjoy the life that you're living. I think that was, kind of the theme through today. So anyways, thanks for being here. Check out Big Love. Sorry, not Big Love, Grouplove. Song was Big. Group is Grouplove. Check out Grouplove. Also, they're going on tour. New singles coming out soon. And I'll catch you all next week. Bye.